Water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. You must have heard this a number of times when you were young. So, why we are talking about water today? Because water is a very important component in the life of human beings. And 70.8% of the Earth's surface is water. And out of this, 96.5% of the water is salty water. So we just have 3.5% as fresh water, and most of that is also submerged under the ice. So now the second question is that the composition of the human body. Now the composition of the human body, we have about 50 to 60% of the human body is water. In the human body, if we take in the adults, the range is between 50 to 60% of the composition is water, and in the infant it is 70 to 75% is water. So the various body parts that have the maximum composition of water is blood and kidneys, it is 81% water. Brain and muscles have 75% of water, and the liver has about 71% as water. So what should be the average intake of water that a person should have per day? Now different experts have different ideas about it, and many are of the opinion that the more the water you take, it is good. I think so that is wrong, and this has also been proved by a lot of scientific studies. The experts found out that on an average about 2 liters of water per day is more than enough in an adult human being, but this can vary depending on the climatic conditions, the age, the sex, and the type of work you are doing. If you are in a hot desertic climate or warm climate, naturally the intake would be higher. Now another important factor is that what is the total amount of water and fluids and food, totality of water in that which a human should intake. So it is about 3.7 liters on an adult male and 2.7 liters on an adult female. Now what is the ideal pH balance that should be there in the water that we intake? Now studies have found that if the pH balance of water is below 6.5, then it is acidic in nature, and if it is more than 8.5, then it is alkaline in nature. So the best pH balance for human intake in water is between 6.5 to 8.5. There was a study conducted by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in 2025 that came out with a report indicating that 70% of all the diseases in India were waterborne, and chiefly the most common amongst the diseases were acute diarrhea, typhoid, and hepatitis. So you can very well imagine that it is very important that we should have access to safe and clean drinking water. There was another study conducted under the title of Environment Performance Index. It was conducted by University of Yale in collaboration with the Columbia University, where they were ranking the countries on the specific indicator measuring exposure to unsafe drinking water, and India ranked 116 out of the 180 countries they surveyed. So there was another study conducted by WHO in association with UNICEF called the Joint Monitoring Program, JMP, whereby they peg India as a country where 90% of the population have access to drinking water. But out of that 90%, 50 to 60% of the total population have access to safe drinking water, which is a very important component for the health and hygiene of the population here. The water quality in all the Indian rivers is also not totally safe. There was a report published by the National Water Quality Monitoring Program under the Central Pollution Control Board that had put the monitored river stretches they had pegged that 1/3 of the monitored river stretches had water which was unsafe for the best use criteria. Now there is a color code when we often purchase water in the PET bottles when you're traveling or in a day-to-day use. So we should also understand the general criteria of the color of the caps, because the color of the caps indicates the type of water in it. Now let's take for example the first criteria. We often find bottles with a white color cap or a transparent color cap. This denotes that this water is generally a regular water or a purified drinking water, and this is basically a typical filtered, distilled or processed water. The second is the blue cap. Now it can be a dark blue, it can be a sky blue. The blue cap generally denotes that the water is a natural spring water or the mineral water. The third category is the green cap. Now the green cap denotes that it is basically a flavored water. Infused, the water in it is infused with natural flavors like that of lime or cucumber or mint or peach, etc. Now the fourth that we take up is the yellow. Yellow cap denotes that it is a vitamin enhanced water. Generally you will find that the yellow cap bottles are a little expensive as compared to the other three criteria. Now the fifth cap is the pink or the red. Now the pink or the red is the sparkling water or carbonated water, or we can say these are electrolyte enhanced water. Now this is also basically more expensive than the others. And the fifth, which I could not get, is the black cap. I just have the cap of the bottle. If the water bottle has a black cap in it, then the black cap denotes that it is an alkaline water or high pH premium water. So you have whenever you are buying water, it is more important to see 2-3 things before you purchase the PET bottle. Number one, the water should not have, the PET bottle or water should not have been exposed to the direct sunlight for a long duration, because often you find that the crates are kept outside the shop where there is sufficient sunshine on them. So because that should be avoided. The second is that the cap should not have been tampered with, because refilling should not have taken place in the same bottle. Now the third is that you always turn around the bottle and see the expiry date, or if the expiry is not given, then it would be written use best before. So the packaging date or use before should be taken into criteria. That is more important, and it is important for all of us to keep ourselves safe, secure, sound, and do not litter the lakes and the rivers, because ultimately the future generations depend upon the type of the world that we are going to leave for them. Thank you very much.